The best way I can explain my experience reading Hell's Paradise is to compare it to approaching the hottest girl in the club. You see a great looking somebody standing by the bar. She's wearing a thoughty Taobao dress, having a drink, and, fortunately for my short ass, stands at around 5'4". The DJ is playing Drake's Dogwater new album in sequence, a risky move on his part TBH, so you gotta pull now before the place starts to wallflower. You start talking to Ma, and everything seems to be going great. However, you soon notice when she starts speaking, she just doesn't stop. She'll keep yapping, uninterrupted. The topic doesn't matter, neither does the music, the club can get busy, the dance floor could be packed. She'll just keep talking. The hot chick who doesn't shut the fuck up is the best IRL comparison that I can give to Hell's Paradise. But you don't have to take my misogynistic word for it. Read the series for yourself. It's honestly really great. A gripping series that reheats the highlights of 70s manga with a modern art style that is truly haunting. Jugokuraku is a standout horror battle shonen that paints a claustrophobic story that feels equal parts Apocalypse Now, Enter the Dragon, and Alien. This manga is grim, and the amazing artwork by the mangaka and strong pacing in the beginning leads way to one of the great yet wildly challenging classics of the modern era. Set during the Edo period, Hell's Paradise opens with Gabimaru the Hollow, a white-haired ninja who has been betrayed, captured, and put on death row. However, despite whatever methods his executioners use on him, Gabimaru can't die, let alone have his skin pierced due to his clan's ability. That is, until the shogunate's executioner, Yamada Asemon Sagiri, comes to him with an offer. Embark on a dangerous trek to a newly discovered island to retrieve the elixir of life. Alongside him will be other death row convicts, each with their own executioner. Upon completion of the mission, those that survive will be pardoned of their crimes. Gabimaru, desperate to return to the only form of normalcy he's ever experienced, his loving wife, agrees to go on the search. However, the mission soon turns out to be very different from anything he and the other convicts have experienced before. Hell's Paradise is a manga unlike many that I've read before. The first thing to stand out for me had to be the artwork. Authored by Yuji Kaku, former editor for Weekly Shonen Champion and assistant on Fire Punch, Jugokuraku is very heavily inspired by 70s manga. There are plenty of ostentatious pages that really make you pause and consider how absurd yet beautiful everything looks. You see a bit of Kazuo Koike and Go Nagai throughout the manga. Even the way the plot develops itself over time is glacial compared to other shonens. Gabimaru's complex personality adds so much intrigue from early on. He's extremely dedicated to completing the mission and making it back home to his wife. That contrasts well with Sagiri's dedication to her job as an executioner and chaperone to Gabimaru. This combination made for a compelling beginning and hints at how great the chemistry between the expanding cast will be. The peak of Hell's Paradise, unfortunately, comes very early. The monsters of the island are fucking terrifying. They truly are the things of nightmares. Kaku's ability to create such immense horror in broad daylight is something that I wish more authors would attempt. As soon as the convicts and executioners hit land, they find themselves fighting these highly dangerous enemies, with the initial goal of retrieving the elixir of life becoming less and less likely with each passing moment. Seeing how each character reacts and adapts to the dangers of the island is so exciting that you feel as if you're trekking through the jungle with them. Yuzuriha, a kunoichi with a coward's cunning, is one of my favorite supporting characters. She elevates every scene that she's in and, alongside Sagiri, ends up being one of the best written female characters in modern times. Toma and Chobi Aiza are bandit brothers who bring a lot of reckless abandon to the story. Chobe is fucking insane, and his character is very much in the reign of late 90s, early 2000s manga, those sort of anti-hero villainous protagonists. so think Ichi the Killer or Old Boy. Tamiya, Shion, even some of the enemies of the story, such as Taufa and Mudan, add so much to the world of Hell's Paradise. Topics such as gender, spiritualism, sexual fluency, and recreation also show that these convicts are a lot more complex than what the executioners initially thought. There's a commonality in modern manga to have everything turn back to nature or transform into trees. Undead Unluck, Fool Knight, Fire Punch all use aberration as a huge plot device. And it's extensively used in Jugokuraku as well. It does get bashed over your head when the power system starts to get more complex, but before all of the convoluted bullshit starts, you're mesmerized by what you're reading. Seeing humans transform into dazzling flora with a smile on their face is subtle horror at its finest. You know, admittedly, the story gets pretty dull around chapter 50-ish. The mysteries keep piling up without any resolutions, and the non-stop battles also become a bore. The thing is, and this is a flaw for many modern writers, is that you can add many layers to your story, but you need to address some along the way. Otherwise, you're going to have too many plot points floating about, and interest will start to wane. It's the same problem I have with post-time skip One Piece. There are so many explanations on Tao, Tan, mystical sciences, and how wacky everything on the island is, and a lot of this information is just gifted to the main cast. I just have a very hard time believing that our heroes can literally sit around and vomit exposition for chapters on end without being attacked by any of the creatures or gods who are constantly surveilling them. Kaku also has a problem with the flash-forward writing device. I don't think they actually know how to use that device properly. There's a bunch of confusion to start off most chapters because flash-forward is so often used with no forewarning. Bro, we get it. Get the elixir. Get off the island. Some will die. We've established this as early as chapter 2, and don't get me started on the random training arcs. There's legit like a block of 25 chapters that could have easily been condensed into 8. There's a point in the manga where the team invades the God Palace or whatever, and Gabimaru gives us exposition on why each character is partnered up with whom and how effective they'd be going up against the God Hand. But then in the very next chapter, we have one of the God Hand give us the same exposition, but from their perspective. It's also around this point that Kaku starts inserting the power of friendship into battles. I knew it was a lost cause from here. Much of the latter half of this story is a disappointment and eventually becomes a Monster Hunter rip. Talk no Jutsu becomes a staple move for every character. There's even a "I'll have to use that" scene that made my stomach churn. Though there are many moments that are very ambitious and entertaining. The group battle against the incest twins was visually great and brought about a lot of awesome character development. We also learn what their motives were for initially luring humans to the island. When the second Asimon group and the Awagakure ninjas finally make their way onto the island, the story gets a much needed boost. More of Gabimaru's backstory is revealed, and we finally learn the extent of his evil and coldness. I fucking love the ninjas and wish they played a more prominent role from early on. Modern depictions of ninja can be hit or miss, but what's done here is definitely fine and enjoyable, if not played very straight. These ninjas are just tools and will lay their life on the line at the drop of a hat for the good of their mission. As such, you see the slaughter of some of these ninja, Anakin youngling style, and it's a little heart-wrenching, but a very nice touch from Kaku. I like that when given the chance, the author likes to remind us of how bloody every character's backstory is. Aside from moments of bad writing, my biggest gripes with Hell's Paradise is the power scaling and tone setting. I don't care how much you explain to me the rules and cheat codes of the power system of your world. You can't tell me that over the course of 3 days are able to not only discover how to utilize their inner power, but are able to harness it to a point where they can destroy godlike beings who have been using this same power for thousands of years. And the silliness of the back half of the manga is not good. What's up with the stupid faces and random one-liners in battle shonen these days? Demon Slayer is guilty of this, but Hell's Paradise equally so. And that's kinda what leads me to my closing thoughts on Hell's Paradise. Kaku Yuji is a solid mangaka, but he can be a lot better. He's benefited from pedigree so far, and honestly, when he pulls from the Tatsuki Fujimoto wheelhouse, that's when he's at his absolute best. But when he tries to stretch out and do his own thing, it doesn't always work. Phantasma wasn't good, Ayashimon wasn't good, and Hell's Paradise, while a solid series, benefits mostly from Kaku's close proximity to more talented creators. The legacy of Hell's Paradise will depend entirely on how well MAPPA adapts the series, and they're a capable studio, so I don't have many doubts. I just hope they'll condense some of the drawn-out arcs. I don't think anyone would say that Jugokuraku is their favorite series, but I know many would say that they thoroughly enjoyed the ride, myself included. If you like Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, Dandadan, Jujutsu Kaisen, the same manga that we're all reading, then you'll enjoy this one as well. I'm giving Hell's Paradise a 7 out of 10.